We'll come to order. Thank you very much. A warm welcome to those attending and also to our viewers watching live on the YouTube channel, Hillingdon, London. This meeting is of the Executive Scrutiny Committee. I said I'd have to get my teeth in, but I've just done it. My name is Councillor Henry Higgins, and I'm the chairman of this meeting. The key role of the committee is to scrutinise and review the decisions made earlier this evening by the Cabinet before they are implemented. This is a cross-party committee comprising elected councillors, not in the Cabinet. We are also cooperative representatives who attending speak on education-related matters. As a committee, we do not make any decisions, but we can ask the Cabinet or the Cabinet members to reconsider decisions taken. Details of business to be considered today is shown on the agenda, copies of which are available in the room and also accessible on the YouTube underneath the live broadcast. A polite reminder to councillors speaking today that your voice will only be audible if the microphone is switched on. I'll go around the table tonight introducing the councillors. To my left, I start with Tony Little, who is here part of the education. Welcome. Councillor Price, Councillor Money and Councillor Curling, the Labour lead, and over on my right I have Councillor Arnold, Councillor Richard Mills and Councillor Wayne Bridges. I will then go through the first bits of the agenda, which is obviously apologies.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, apologies received from Councillor Dennis, with Councillor Richard Mills present as a substitute, and Councillor Riley.
Thank you. And before that, I just said about it, can we agree the meetings from the last meeting? Yes, agreed? Okay. The committee sought clarification on the existing charges for Meals on Wheels, which was asked by Councillor Price, whether the new slightly increased charge agreed by the Cabinet for the new customers would still require the operation to be subsidised in mean time. The charge prior was £2.80, with the council paying a subsidy of £2.45 towards it. The new full charge of £5.25 is the new customers only. It is expected that the service will transition to become cost neutral, no subsidy in the appropriate proximity of the year. Second question was the committee sought more information, if possible at this time, on how the additional special provision of funding capital grant of $1,356,000 from the Department of Education would be spent. The capital grant for providing additional special education needs for school places and education facilities. Hillingdon's provision allocation was originally $3,594,000, made available in 3 annual instalments from autumn 2018. In December 2018, the Department of Education announced that it would provide additional $100 million top-up to the Special Provision Capital Fund for local authorities, 1.356 for Hillingdon. This is the overall total allocation Hillingdon would receive is $4,950,000. As the council's submission, these funds will go towards creating additional SEND places and capacity at the following schools: Hedgewood Primary School, Uxbridge College, Moorcroft School, Ruislip High School, and the creation of a secondary hub and satellite model, special and mainstream. The next question was, members had a query on the zero value of approved funds for this month against the educational psychological posts. The zero value is likely to indicate that not all funds were spent that had been previously approved and allocated. The agency staff may not have been on holiday or had changes of hours. The effect of the monitoring of this is essentially to continue the time period of the agency assignments. Next question. Members requested discussions with Head of Planning regarding the future monitoring of the Community Infrastructure Levy, SIL, monies and additional to 106. This matter has been raised directly with the Head of Planning, Transportation and Regeneration, members of the following, and consultations required with the Cabinet member, and the committee will be updated when that decision is made. It's also requested that the quarterly planning obligation monitoring appendix by Councillor Curling be printed in A3 going forward due to the size of text. Democratic Services will action this similarly for the planning committee that received the same report, because we've complained about it when we do that as well. So that's that out of the way. We'll go into the Cabinet report. What we will do is we will deal with the... Sorry, Councillor Price.
Yes, Councillor Friend, thank you. Can I raise a point on that?
Yes.
I thought that we were asking, on the issue of the SIL money, I thought we were asking for a breakdown of what it was spent on, rather than future monitoring, I suppose. No,
I think what the issue is here, the question was asked, and they'll be coming back to us with an update of what they're going to do. That's what we're waiting for now.
An update of what they're going to do?
Whether it's going to be a part of the 106 agreement, or they'll give us a detailed report on it the next time we have it's in the Cabinet report.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So the Cabinet report, we'll take item 6 first. So the running order will be the monthly council budget monitoring reports with Tony here, and then we'll go to item 5. Okay, so do the committee have any questions on the council's revenue and capital monthly 2 budget monitoring? Obviously, we have a number of recommendations from 1 to 14, which, I mean, if you wish me to read them, I will read them gladly, but I think we've already heard it all once before in the Cabinet, so I don't think there's any issue. Have we got anything on this? Yes, Mr. Little.
Thank you, Chairman. On paragraph 38 on page 68, it refers to the deficit recovery plan for the area of high needs spending, I presume. Is it possible to see a copy of that, to be sent a copy of that?
I think it will come through, but I think it's a Part 2 item at the moment, so that when that becomes after I think there was some contracts around it that we have to wait for. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it will come, but not now.
I'm not sure I understand the answer.
Well, the situation is that that's under review. Right. Yeah, and we have some items have been in Part 2, so we can't really discuss that at this present moment, but next time I'm sure it'll come through on the agenda properly. So I can't really answer that question at the moment. That you will be able to see it, but not now, basically. Is that okay? I'm trying to be a bit vague, but obviously there's obviously processes are going through the system that we have to adhere to.
I understand the reason for the vagueness. Do we have an idea of the timescale on which we would see it?
Unfortunately, I haven't been given a timescale, but we'll make a note of it, and I'll bring it up on the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason I raised it is in relation to the items later on about the high needs block, because what it looks like from the paragraphs on page 80 is that we're seeing a continuous growth in such spending, and therefore that we have a bigger problem, presumably, than we thought we had at the beginning of the year when this plan would have been drawn up. And the second reason is relating on the following page to the budget deficits of the various schools that are outlined in paragraph 96 and 97 of the report, because my understanding of what modest information I have seen on the deficit recovery plan is that it would be related to the school surpluses that have been accumulated to date, and those surpluses are obviously rapidly disappearing.
But as you know, and what we've discussed on the committee many times, that the school forum deals with their own money. At the moment, we know that the cabinet member is negotiating, trying to help them. I would say is the best way of saying that. At the moment, as we know from last time, we contacted the Secretary of State as we do normally, and for the first time we were actually able to do something. So that again is ongoing. So when I have more news, I will gladly give it.
I would point out that what you were able to do, as you put it, was
not me personally.
Was take money from the schools with the one hand, which you then gave back to them with the other.
There's a big debate about it, and I don't think this is really the committee for us to get into that. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, so I had a few hands up. Councillor Prince. No, I thought it was you. So Councillor Curling.
Thank you, Chairman. On page 97, paragraph 155, it says the Council aims to minimise its exposure to bail-in risk by utilising bail-in exempt instruments and institutions wherever possible. However, due to the significant amount held in instant access facilities needed to manage daily cash flow, it is not possible to fully protect council funds from bail-in risk. At the end of May, 65% of the Council's total funds have exposure to bail-in risk, compared to a March benchmark average of 55% in the local authority sector. The Council's exposure reduces to 0.01% once instant access facilities are removed from the bail-in total. My question is, can we get officers to provide a layman's terms explanation of what that means and what its impact is?
Where's the fun of that? It's a good question. I will actually ask, because we do actually in these reports we do have a lot of abbreviations for committees and areas that we don't, the common layman would never know what they were, but we're sort of part of our job of the thing. Yes, I don't think the committee will agree with that. We all agree? Yes, it's fantastic. Great, that's lovely. Councillor Money? That's fine, yeah? So, anything else on this? No? Lovely? Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Little. Okay, agenda item 5, the review of the Corporate Services, Commerce and Communities Policy Overview Committee, Community Safety and New Policing Structures in Hillingdon. Do we have any questions on this? No? Okay. Well, that's that then. Thank you very much. We'll now go to part 2.